Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video we're continuing with defining, redefining and living words and utilizing our relationship with our bodies to assist and support with that. So, a couple of things that this brings to light as well in using your body in the defining and redefining process is the extent to which your internal reality does program your physical reality or behavior, which will then in turn program and create your everyday life moments, decisions, choices, and actions. So, therefore, in the redefining process, we want to have a look at how we can redefine the word commitment in a way that can be expressed by our bodies in a moment with ourselves and that we can take out into our outside world. Now, look, in terms of commitment, all those references of commitment, there's nothing wrong with any of them, but there was an imbalance in my relationship with them. I could hierarchically structure that commitment to my partner was way up top, first things first. I was way at the bottom. Problem, not even defined, mind you. I didn't even know a reference of what self-commitment was. And then, like, my everyday life responsibilities were somewhere scattered in between, when you should have a look at having more of a circle, a balance, where you're in the center, your commitment to you, because everything and everyone else is extensions of you. If you don't even know what self-commitment is, what are you going to know about commitment to your partner as an extension of you, to the work that you do as an extension of you, to your friends, acquaintances, things like that? And that's why I found as well why my life was in such disarray when it came to my relationships, because of the value, the worth that I inadvertently had placed on it just within this word commitment. So this word could also be very eye-opening for everyone to have a look at. Where is your value, your worth, existent within through investigating the word commitment? Now, obviously, that hug with my partner, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I also want that for me, It's interesting that I'd be committed to literally, if you look at the way I did that hug, I mean, that's like full on, all of me embracing, absolute jumping up, yeah. I'm like, what about me? How can I not express that toward myself? Like, that didn't even exist in me at all to do for me, toward me. And, and if you also hear the sound of my voice, I'm not saying it in like a selfish, self-interested, victimized, egotistical way. It's actually just a commonsensical, I'm living in my own life, but it's like I'm not even present in it at all. So, like, okay, now because my partner and everything else in my life is an extension of me, all I need to do is balance out my relationship to all of that, and that's relationship to me. What do I mean by that? Is that I could take a little bit from everything and everyone in my life that I had a relationship of commitment toward and equally gift that to myself. So, self-commitment was the key, was the point missing in all of this. And I asked myself, okay, what is self-commitment? If I take from how I've defined commitment toward my partner, and I defined that's commitment toward my partner as embracing, I'm there, I support, I'm there when he needs me, to support his ventures, his future, his successes, his falls, side by side, strengthening our strengths, strengthening our weaknesses, full on, everything's there. Like, okay, take a bit of all of that and also then share it equally with myself. How would I be there for all those aspects of me in my personal life? And so I sat down, okay, how can I in my everyday life incorporate more support for my future, my successes, my achievements, my goals? So I started mapping out more my goals, my midterm, short-term, long-term, focusing more on, okay, what exact strengths do I need to strengthen that I can do by myself? How can I bring my partner more into my world? Because it's another thing I didn't do. I didn't bring him into my world in the sense of showing him more of what are my goals. How can he help me attain them? my future and things. And it was really surprising because in many ways, he was like, well, I didn't even know that you were looking at these things or doing these things. It was like, yeah, this is what's actually happening in my world. And it's again coming back to that interesting point of just strengthening that relationship of communication with people closest to you in your life. I mean, this is things that you can even share with friends, people you work with, people who are in your life. So many different people can fulfill so many different aspects of yourself in your life in support. There's some aspects that my partner can't necessarily be there for, that I need another person for, who, let's say, on a certain level that I communicate about certain things in my past and in my life. There's only one person who's got all that context. And so that aspect of me, that person supports with. Certain aspects of me, my partner supports with. We also sometimes with this illusion of commitment think that, that one person has to be our everything, when that is actually impossible and exceptionally limiting and almost stifling in a relationship for yourself, your partner. There is no way that you can be everything for one person. Your life and your partner's life and your relationship will be so much more fulfilling if you know exactly what of you does need support from other aspects in your life. Obviously, the one thing that is, let's call it, sacred within a relationship is sexuality. And that deep physical intimacy, unless, you and your partner have got other agreements in relation to how the relationship works. But if that agreement's not there, let's call it your standard relationship between you and your partner is sex, sexuality, the communication, the intimacy, some personal things. I mean, there's even personal things that my partner helps me with that, let's call it in business side, in personal things I work with and deal with in my past that I also have other people supporting me with. So it's all interconnected. We are multifaceted, multidimensional beings, who can get support from so many different avenues and people in our life. And your life will be so much more abundantly fulfilling if you add more support in than resist and fight or go all stubborn and Superman on yourself and I'm going to do everything by myself and myself alone only and save the world. So, slowly but surely incorporating more of that in my life, because I found the problem with commitment and how it was defined for me was that I started resisting support, straining relationships, finding myself slowly but surely actually separating myself from people, because I was like in that kind of a vacuum of my commitment and relationship is to my partner alone. Everything else is secondary and myself is lost. So it's an interesting relationship dynamic that also does sometimes happen within the word commitment. But with balancing out myself and my life more in all those ways, so here, what you can do in your redefining of commitment, self-commitment, start with self-commitment. Make sure self-commitment exists. You are equally as much committed to your mental health, physical health, and life health as much as you are of that of your partner and everything else in your life. Because if that central point does not exist, everything else has become questionable in relation to the value and the worth of commitment that you are really giving to people in your life. All right. So from there, then I asked myself, okay, using my body as a reference again, how would my body express self-commitment? And initially it was like that because, it's not really in me yet. Like my body didn't really want to do something, but it felt like I was supposed to hug myself. So I kind of just did that in the beginning. And then, just now being in the throes of walking the self-commitment process, I'm actually starting to do this, dancing. So to me, self-commitment is expressing myself and dancing a bit. And there's a little bit of hugging every here and there, but for me, it just became more, it's like a freedom dance movement. I can open my arms and things. How was commitment before? Like when I started defining it was like this. Seriously, I was standing still. That. And now it's like There we go. Okay, something's happening. I'm still uncomfortably bopping up and down, but it's getting there. It must still become as natural as my body was like initially with commitment that came up, with my partner or with someone else, which is like that hug, that embracing, that really going for it. So you can use your body even to gauge, okay, where are you at within your process? And you can honestly feel it and see it, because your body is one of the awesomest things that is most difficult to lie to yourself with. I mean, I can't lie to myself or this one, yeah, I really love myself, like so much. I'm like so committed to myself, and like really, you can't do that. So you're using your body will be a great tool to not lie to yourself in this process of defining and redefining and living words. Give you a very, very cool mirror. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you in videos to come.